Hey guys, I.B.B. game number 3 of setting my league. So far it's gone well. I've had 2 wins, so I'm 2-0. I'm sure that'll come to an end here pretty soon. So it looks like we are dropping in on the canyon map on this one, and this is not live commentary, just so you know. This is post commentary, and I dropped in on this one. Now normally on this map as well, there's 3 maps that I like to drop in on with the Carnage with Tridents, and that is Yamantau, Springfield, and this one. But on the previous 2 games I dropped in with my Carnage Tridents, and so I thought, well, I am recording these, and so that thought actually made me change my plan on this one a little bit, because, well, I just wanted to show some gameplay from a different bot. So I came out in my Lancelot with the Ansel Shield and the Plasma, and what I like to do in this is actually keep my distance a little bit. So I want to stay outside of 300 meters, so between 300 and 350. And the reason for that is actually going to come to bear here pretty soon, because I'm going to come up against another player with a Lancelot that is actually running some Orkans, and so I will point a few things out once we get to that point. However, at first I wanted to try and deal with this Carnage up here with the Zeuses, because they can just be a pain in the butt. They'll cut right through an Ansel Shield, no problem. So if I happen to turn sideways to him, he's gonna nail me, and I really don't want that. And plus, even if I don't turn sideways to him and he takes a shot at me with the Zeuses, he's gonna do damage to my shield, and I actually want to kind of save that for when it really matters. Alright, so there was the first volley where the Ansel Shield actually saved my backside. And I really like how fast this thing regenerates nowadays. Before I didn't buy this, because I didn't really feel like it was worth it. But since they did the upgrade to it, they buffed it. I've encountered it enough times on the battlefield that I thought, you know, I've got to get one of these. So I went out and got one of these. So here I'm up against this Lancelot that has the Orkans, and so what I'm doing right here is I'm just sort of playing peekaboo with him, and I'm just firing one Tehran at him because I just want to eat into his shield a little bit, his physical shield. So hopefully I wanted to break that at some point. And so what I'm going to try and do is stay within that 300 to 350 meter range with him. And here, he's going to fire his thrusters and come in at me, and I'm going to recognize it just a little bit too late, but then I'm going to fire my thrusters and back up, and so once he eats through my Ansel Shield, he's not able to do any more damage to me, because I was able to fire my thrusters and back up out of range. So right now, here for a little while, this is a cat and mouse game between me and him, and we both know it. So here again, he fires his thrusters to come in at me, and I just duck behind cover here. And he must I don't know exactly what level that Lancelot is, but his shield was actually holding up pretty well. Now, I was only hitting him with 1, and he was doing with 1 Tehran, and he was doing a pretty good job backing up out of my 350 meter range there. Unfortunately, I was not getting any backup from my team, and there at the last moment, I saw that Rhino out of the corner of my eye, and I saw that he had Orkans, and so I fired the thrusters to get up out of his line of fire there, which saved my bacon. Now here I come right next to this Fujin, and at some point I'm actually going to back up, and I'm going to stay right next to him, and hopefully we can use each other's shields. So there's that Rhino again looking at me from the side there, but I think I'm outside of his range. So here we are. I saw him put up his shield, and so I'm just gonna stay really close to him, as close as I can, to maybe share our Ansel shields, because there's gonna be a lot of splash damage that's gonna come flying in here. And I think both of our shields are pretty much drained at this point, because we got three of them, three red team members firing at us here. So there you saw me just get up close to him to hopefully, you know, get him, encompass him inside my Ansel shield there. It worked for a little while. It took some health down from these guys, I think. So I would call that a success, really. Now, I know that the beacon bar isn't really showing this to be a close game at this point, but I really felt like we were able to hold our own on this one, my team and I. And I really didn't feel like my team was a bunch of bumpkins, you know. Can I tell you exactly what it is that they were doing? No, but, you know, they may say the same thing about me as well. So I think in the grand scheme of things, I've had worse teams than this one, and so I'm going to give these guys credit where credit is due and say, you know, thanks a lot, guys. You know, I really appreciate the teamwork. And I really felt like we stayed together. There's some moments in this game that I can point to where we really did work together on this. And that is rare when it comes to a random squad like this. Alright, so my shield is gone at this point, and he's got plasma, so I know I'm not going to survive too much longer on this one. And looking back on this game, I don't know, maybe I spent a little bit too much time in that plasma Lancelot. You know, I spent a lot of time firing into shields. And so maybe if I'd had a little bit more splash damage working for me, this game may have come out differently. One can never know, I suppose. And I do see that Lancelot off to my right. That's why I'm going to come over here. He's going... I know that the beacon bar is getting short on us, so I'm going to come over here and stop him from actually turning this red. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take a shot at this Leo up here. And at this point, I am not oblivious to the fact that he's coming in around me, because I see that I'm changing the beacon that I'm under. So I knew that he had left his post to come around to get me. Unfortunately, I felt like it was worthwhile to continue to stay where I was, change that beacon for the time being, and go after that Leo that I was going after. And I am not actually going to get back into this fight. The game is going to end. And so that was actually a closer game than the beacon bar would show there. And I think my team played fairly well. So that was the first loss, game 3 of the 5-game series that will set my league. And looking at the scorecard here, I don't think we did too bad. So we will continue on with game 4 tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Also, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of these hangers here. And I mentioned in yesterday's video how I really felt like matchmaking had sort of settled down a little bit. Like the teams were a bit more evenly matched. And so here are just a couple of the players in this battle here. And I really felt like these hangers were all pretty even.